What about journals in law school? So
Yeah,
there is a
wasn't on one.
yeah. They always push it. You
Yeah,
know what I
no.
mean?
It's an actual little anecdote. So yeah, there's journals in law school. I don't know if it's with every law school, but at least the one that we attended. Um, the push for mock trial teams and for journals comes like towards the end of your first year, and that's essentially when the period to try out, write on, whatever the terminology is,
Hmm.
to get onto these things is. And they're for people that don't really know, it's like an extracurricular law school thing, basically. The journal, it's research and writing essentially, just to put it in a sentence, and then the mock trial is pretty aptly named. Um, I didn't really want to do either.
Hmm.
Well, actually, that's not true. I wanted to do a mock trial team, but they had a few different varieties. I want to say like at least half a dozen or so different mock trial teams at our school. And then for whatever reason, after our first year, they cut it down, and there was like two or three. So it was
Yeah.
like basically it became from like very specific types of law, where there was like an environmental one, a criminal one, and this one and this one, and there was like two I really wanted to do, and I even ended up getting pretty familiar with the faculty advisors for those,
Hmm.
just because I wanted to be on good base with them. And I was in the process of getting ready to try out for them,
Right.
and they literally announced they weren't going to be in existence next year. So it's like, oh, okay, then you have to try out for like one of these two teams, or whatever it was. And I was just like, yeah, that's not my interest. So I didn't do it.
Hmm.
And keep in mind, I was also working like two jobs outside of law school. So
I
if it
remember.
wasn't something I was invested into, I didn't want to bite off more than I could chew. Uh, in the journal thing, there was, I think, two or three versions of the journals, and I didn't have any interest in trying out for either of those. Fun fact though, so there's like a deadline in which you have to write onto a journal, where basically they give you a topic to research and write about. Um, a little bit more to it, but that's essentially what it is in a nutshell. And there's a deadline to submit this work,
Hmm.
and that's where they evaluate whether or not you can make the journal. I wasn't going to do it. Fully didn't plan on doing it. A friend of mine at the time, like literally the weekend, it was due like Sunday at midnight or something like that, and like I think like Saturday, he's like, "Oh, you should do it." And I don't know if we'd had a couple drinks or what the deal was, but I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. I should do it." So dumb. I mean, I, have you ever tried to cram like they give? How long do they give you to do that?
I
It's like
honestly, I
it's like
blocked it all
it's a
out.
couple months, right? Like it's
I
weeks at least.
it should be weeks.
It's
Yeah.
at least weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's anywhere from a couple weeks to like a month plus of time they give you to do this,
Hmm.
and you're expected to use the whole time, like you're damn close to it. And I tried to literally hadn't looked at this material and tried to cram this whole thing in like 24 hours.
Right.
Um, I don't know where on the spectrum of grading it landed, but I didn't get on, and definitely didn't want to get on. But the funniest part about that is I was bartending and waiting tables, and I was literally like in the server station, like with a laptop, like writing this as like people are like, yeah, I need whatever, I need a cocktail. I was like, oh yeah, I'm coming out.
Right.
I'd come out and mix cocktail, and then go back and be like midnight sitting there.
Yeah. So, why do you think there is this push for these journals? I noticed it's mainly with the journals. I mean, they did have
Oh
mock
no,
trial
it's
teams
because
and
it
stuff.
looks good on resumes. Yeah,
Right. Do you think it's
it shows that you're because obviously that takes a level of skill and know how to do well at them. So,
Mhm.
you put that on a resume. It just shows. I mean, it's the same reason that kids applying to college, want to have basketball on their resume or debate team on their resume or whatever, their transcript, because it shows that you're well rounded, that you can do different things, that you have different analytical skills, and that's more or less why.